My car, Mercedes SL 6.3 AMG, V8, 6,300cc, twin turbos, 190 miles an hour, and probably on a good day about 13 miles to the gallon. It's absolutely glorious, but completely and utterly unsustainable. The future does not involve cars like this. So what does it involve? Lots and lots of little electric cars? Hydrogen? Well, hydrogen's great, but hydrogen is what? 10 years away? Well, actually, it isn't. Well, we do have hydrogen here and now. In fact, in Japan and America, you can lease a car called the Honda FCX Clarity, which runs entirely on hydrogen, and very good it is too. We don't have any of that stuff here in the UK because we really don't have the infrastructure. We don't have all the pipes and all the tanks because we spent all the money we should have spent on putting hydrogen into the UK, bailing out Northern Rock, which is a bit of a shame. So what are we going to do? We can't now, particularly now, spend all that money putting all that stuff in. Do we wait another 10 years? Do we let electric cars have the volts and the spark? Or do we bring the hydrogen to the people? And that is exactly what this is. It's a mobile hydrogen refuelling station, which can be put literally on the back of a lorry and taken anywhere. Taken to a supermarket car park, a football stadium, a fleet garage, wherever. So you don't need all those pipes, all that digging up of the road, all those tanks underneath the ground. All you do is you take it to the car and you just plug it in. Now this is a lot like the LPG system, the liquefied petroleum gas, that's really quite familiar. You just put the nozzle into your car, you press the button, and it quietly tanks it up. And look, there's nothing complicated about hydrogen. It comes from water. You put electricity through the water, and it makes hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. You take the hydrogen, you put it in the tanks, and you put it in your car, and your car will burn hydrogen. So, next question, I can hear you saying, how do we get cars that will run on hydrogen? Well, we take the ones we've got and we simply convert them. Easy. So I'm going to continue my LPG, liquefied petroleum gas analogy, and say it's very similar. You have your pipe coming out of your tank, going into the engine. You have a secondary fuel rail here with the injectors. The hydrogen comes from the tank and goes into these injectors into a conventional internal combustion engine. So if you throw the fact that we can retrofit these cars, you have a portable filling station, and also there is the possibility of having a home hydrogen filling station. Then you really are talking about the future being here and now and not 10 years away. The cost is high at the moment, and that will have to come down, and there will have to be a whole haversack of grants and incentives to get consumers to change their behaviour, and that has to come from the government if this is to work properly and gain mainstream acceptance. But it's viable, it's here, it's now, and it works. And it even works on vans. You don't have to be very bright at all to work out that the applications for commercial vehicles are huge. Think of all those HGVs, those trucks, those dumpers, those white vans that could be running on hydrogen. Think of the difference to emissions. Okay, at the moment it costs quite a bit. You've got the cost of the tank. It doesn't incidentally compromise any load space in the back because it goes underneath the floor. But once those tanks were fitted by the original manufacturers of vans and trucks and buses, and once you've got all the technology underneath the bonnet at a lower cost, and once you've got the grants from the government, hello, it's a real good thing. And the air would be so much cleaner. And to those, dare I call them Luddites, dare I call them Neanderthals, who worry that their white van might somehow be affected by all this frightening new technology, let me just tell you this, that we even have a little button on the dashboard that goes from hydrogen back to petrol. So if you want to carry on driving your Transit at 110 miles an hour down the outside lane of the M1, you still can, don't worry. So anyway, what does it drive? Let's find out. Okay, we are running on hydrogen, and you would be hard-pressed to tell any difference whatsoever. It's smooth, it's refined, it's fine. Now, the great thing about this is the usable range is about 100 to 125 miles, and compared to electric, you would have to go back, you would have to then charge up your batteries for 6 hours, whereas with this, it's a 5-minute refill, and off you go again. Okay, we've been running on hydrogen for a while now, so the emissions from this van, it's just steam. It is water, which I have condensed into this glass, and the boffins in here tell me that it is clean enough to drink, so here we go. A little warm, but not unpleasant. Heavier, it's not, but if that's all that's being pushed out, that's absolutely fantastic. So I would say to any politicians listening, this is what we need to be doing, and we need to be doing it now. I'd say to any EU bureaucrats, carry on legislating, because it is beginning to happen. And to anybody with a bit of restless cash, this is going to be a very, very interesting place to park your loot, because this is the future, and the future begins with H. A world of hydrogen would taste pretty sweet.